people who are already moving from a place to another place, they have the courage to start new things. All we need to give them is proper guidance.
Well, the thing is, it's not what organizations should provide, it's how they should promote.
Yeah, I think what would be really helpful if we had organizations in Erfurt that not only provide activities for migrants, but also reach out to them, because when you arrive, you don't know anyone or any organization. It's difficult to find them when you really don't know.
One of the interesting learning points of the consultation this evening was how some people felt quite integrated, but perhaps not integrated into broader society that they were living in their local community, but more integrated into a migrant bubble or an international bubble. There were highly organized migrant communities engaged in social life and political life, but then there was a level of disconnection between these very active communities and the broader civic and social community. So perhaps one of the outcomes of this project and one of the recommendations for NGOs can be to engage not just with young migrants, but with the really hyper-active and engaged and enthusiastic migrant communities that already exist as formal or informal structures in very local communities.
Get a friend that speaks German, get a German friend, make a German friend. That's a difficult one, but it's possible. They do exist. Germans are very friendly. They can be tamed. The German friends are loyal and they'll come to help you.
Hi, my name is Natalia and I've been here almost 3 months. My project is not in Erfurt but in Weimar. We work with political education and civic education of youth in Germany, and we also work with some international projects.
Digitalization in Germany, it's a real middle age. With everything, with banking, with paying, with services, it's very difficult here.
Hi, I'm Camilla and I'm from Italy. I've been here since 2 weeks and I'm working with Not Freunde Jugend, which is a German association about nature and social inclusion.
So my name is Victor Murillo. I am a Venezuelan national and I've been living in Germany for almost 6 years and 2 months now. And what's life as a migrant here in Germany? Well, it's not like everyone tells you it is. You don't get a BMW the moment you get off the plane. It's not as easy as they paint it to be like. It's more of a learning process or a learning curve.
Hi, my name is Andrea and I've been in Germany for 2 weeks now. And as a migrant here, I could say that I kind of need more support into integrating into the German culture because it's so much different than my own culture and I find it a bit difficult. So it would be nice to have some language support so I can learn a bit more German, which I think will then help me to integrate more with the locals here. I could have more conversations with the German people, and in this way I'm just gonna feel part of this society more, and I'm not gonna feel like an outsider anymore as I am now as a foreigner who's new in this new country.
My name is Atar Farooq and I'm doing my Masters in Public Policy from Willy Brandt School, University of Erfurt. I have been in Erfurt for 2 years. And there are many challenges as a foreigner I have experienced here. First of all, getting my residence permit.
Hi, my name is Elena, I'm 25. I've been living in Erfurt in Germany for a bit longer than a year now. Time flies, really. I arrived at a bit of a complicated time because COVID lockdown just started in Germany. So it was not so easy to integrate in a new country, new city where you don't know anyone. But thankfully I could rely on the international networks that are present here, and meeting international people was the first step to integrate myself in the city, get to know people, go out, participate in the cultural life. So that really worked. I think that what was more challenging was to reach out to German local people. That's still a challenge today. I think when you are new here, you speak the language a little bit, but not as good as a native speaker, of course. It's always a challenge to meet local people and to get new friends and get into those circles that you don't know when you're just arriving in the city. Yeah, I think what would be really helpful if we had organization in Erfurt that not only provide activities for migrants, but also reach out to them, because when you arrive, you don't know anyone or any organization. It's difficult to find them when you really don't know. So it would be good to have programs to reach out to new communities of migrants, try to include them, because it's not always spontaneous from a person to have this reaction to, okay, I'm going to start looking for organization in the city. So it would be good if the first step came from organization and then try to put people together. And I think it's really just this first step that would be needed. After, of course, humans know how to socialize usually together. So yeah, that would be my suggestion.
Hello, my name is Yevhen. I'm from Ukraine and I live in Erfurt for 2 months. For this time, I met a number of problems and challenges, and the first one, the most important for me, it is that as a newcomer, I didn't meet almost no one from Germany who live here for a long time and can tell me about this culture, about this country deeply, like from inside. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to meet real Germans in Germany. They are not so friendly and they are not so digitalized, so they don't use any apps, and it's very difficult to find a contact with Germans. And the second one problem that I find really important is digitalization. In Germany, it's a real middle age. With everything, with banking, with paying, with services, it's very difficult here.
And I have encountered many volunteers, migrants, experts here in Germany who need to learn the language, and many of them have encountered the problem of focusing on learning the language and paying attention to learning the language, because people in a new country with a completely new culture, we all encounter also different issues that we have to solve on a daily basis. Some of us even just have very busy schedules, and it's difficult to find time to learn the language. So our idea was to create some kind of a space or event, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, that would allow people to meet in a place and work with their German, for example. That would be an initiative idea, to do their German homework and to, for example, and to learn the language or pursue their courses or so on and so forth, online courses, for example. And so people with different levels also could be able to help each other, to check the homework and so on and so forth. And also it would be a nice idea for other people, not only for learning German and not only for learning languages, but also with other things where they have to focus, and it's slightly difficult for them to do on their own in their flat or in other places. So that would be an idea.
Thank you so much. Yes.
So I think that my organization is going to let me do some courses for the German language, and I also like to, for example, meet other people or other international people, and for example, doing some city trips, or also going to cultural events to integrate more with the German society, the Erfurt one,
And there are many challenges as a foreigner I have experienced here. First of all, getting my residence permit, then finding a suitable job related to my degree. That's another issue. And the most important issue is the language barrier. Although we need to put more effort, but still as a foreigner, we don't see any flexibility in the community to welcome the foreigners, to accommodate them, to integrate them into the society. What I would suggest as a policy student also to the NGOs, to the organizations working in the sector is, first of all, what I have seen lacking is the students or the people who are coming here, they don't know the legal background, and there should be a process, or there should be an organization, or there should be a section of an organization devoted only to give legal counseling to the people. Like, okay, if you have this visa status, then what other steps you can take to start your own business, or to study, or to move around, or this type of stuff. I think that's the first thing that you should organization should have focus on. Secondly, because whatever you can do, you cannot make another person to start his business. All you can do is to guide, right? So if the people don't have the right guidance, they cannot move, right? So give them the right guidance. I think people who are already moving from a place to another place, they have the courage to start new things. All we need to give them is proper guidance. Thank you very much.
So the first thing, or the hardest thing, is the language. The language is the biggest barrier there is. Even if you take a German lesson or German courses back home, you arrive with an A2 level of German, or enough level to understand what they're saying. They never tell you about dialogues, and each state of Germany has a different dialogue. Whether they say they don't, they all speak perfect German. It's a surprise they do have a dialogue, or they say weird words and put together, and it's like, what? You don't understand me? It's like, oh God. And then, yeah. So my first experience when we arrived here, we had an A2 level of German, and when we arrived in Bayern, and it turns out they speak a different dialect than German, and we just didn't understand what they were saying, so we switched to English, and they said they didn't speak English, but they all spoke as much English as the Queen of England. Things have become easier since I've adapted more, or we've adapted more to the whole German situation and how to do things. We understand better. We speak German now. That's a big step. It helps a lot. The first thing, and that's the main recommendation that I could give to any migrant, or anyone who wants to come to Germany: learn the language. Once you know the language, the rest comes easy. They're very friendly. They're not as scary as they sound. Get a friend that speaks German. Get a German friend. Make a German friend. That's a difficult one, but it's possible. They do exist. Germans are very friendly. They can be tamed. The German friends are loyal, and they'll come to help you.
So the idea behind today was to have a very top-level information gathering exercise with a group of young migrants in Erfurt in Thuringia, and we managed to gather 14 different nationalities into one room this evening. There was only 15 or 16 people here, so every interaction, every conversation was connecting and contrasting and comparing different national realities, and these internationals are all local to Erfurt, so we were comparing how people were navigating the local community and social life and civic life, integrating economically and politically, what that even means to people in their different contexts. And this information gathering exercise we use digital consultation tools, we use non-formal methods and just discussion groups. All of this information we'll put together, and our research group in January is going to dig through it over 5 days and produce some outputs which are more transferable and applicable to non-formal educational settings. And hopefully this group will continue to be engaged as a form of participants committee throughout the entirety of the project.